Howdy, it's Blastsportz. As you know, I'm your host, Jay, also known as Coach Jay, and damn it, I always bring the best talent to my platform. And today I have a phenomenal Muay Thai fighter on my platform today. Please introduce yourself.
Hi Jay. Hi everyone. My name is Gigi. I'm a Muay Thai fighter from Perth, Western Australia.
So let's dive into this. How did you start fighting?
So I actually started training. And before training, I did a lot of aerobic circuit workouts and I'd done some training as a Pilates teacher.
Oh, wow,
I
okay.
decided to try, yeah, I decided to try Muay Thai for a few reasons. I love the artistry of it. I love the style.
Mhm.
And then secondly, I came across a lot of research about the mental benefits of combat sports. So I did come across a gym locally that was beginner friendly. And I started training. And probably the thing that made me stick with it was that I discovered quite a strong cultural and spiritual aspect to it, which resonated with me quite a lot.
Gotcha. You said something kind of interesting now. You said, I came across a gym that was beginner friendly. I understand what that means, but there are young ladies that are watching this and young men, and they're going to be a little confused as to what do you mean for that. Can you please elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, so the gym that I started at specifically marketed to people who had never tried combat sports, were even new to exercise, and they emphasize that you don't have to be fit to start Muay Thai and you don't have to have a sporting background, and everyone was welcome. So it promoted an inclusive culture. So that's what a big thing that drew me in.
Okay, okay. So you taught Pilates. We spoke in the back. You have you're a lawyer, you're a broadcaster, chose the combat sport. Excuse me, you chose the gladiator sport, that as
Mm,
I like to call it. Why? I mean, you had a desk job, you had it good. Like, come on, you're a lawyer, and now you're kicking ass. Like, that's kind of
mm,
like that's night and day.
mm. So I never actually had any aspirations to fight at all. I
Okay.
was doing Muay Thai purely as a form of exercise. So I was showing up to the classes, doing the training. It was not about competing at all. But in Muay Thai, you get selected to fight based on your dedication, your commitment, um, and your consistency. So when I turned professional, I was actually in Thailand as a remote worker. So I was training quite a lot often and quite a lot, and I wanted to push myself physically and mentally. Again, not because I was interested in competing, but I happened to be at a gym where there was a lot of professional fighters, and at the time I was the only female there. I was quite committed and dedicated regularly to going to training because that was my exercise, and I got picked to fight in a stadium fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you got. I'm assuming when you first got picked, it was an amateur fight.
No, funnily enough, it wasn't. It was a professional fight, and I my journey is quite different to a lot of people's in the sense that a lot of people train with the intention to fight, or that's the goal, or they're in there 6 months later, a year later. I'd probably been training for about 2 or 3 years. I'd done a few exhibition bouts. I haven't really done much amateur, and I actually went straight to pro, which is yeah, without pads, without protective gear,
Yeah.
full tie rules. They say it kind of suits anyone who knows me really well would know it's kind of in my personality to take a leap. Um,
That's not a leap.
and
That's like that's a big jump. Like that's not
yeah,
that's not you're not diving into a pond. You jumped into a river. Like you did.
yeah,
That's
I
it's kind of
I
impressive
honestly
to be honest with you. But it's like shouldn't you like in my mindset? I'm like, oh, maybe she built her up. Maybe maybe they built her up and gave a couple exhibition fights. You're like, no, full pro right away.
yeah. So a couple of things I can say about that is well, one, I didn't have too much time to think about it. It happened
Okay.
very quickly. And again, really, I didn't expect it. And two, yeah, I was built up. So really, I was given a lot of like a lot of support, and it's a testament to your environment being conducive to your results. I'm one of those people as well, as I'm very much affected by my environment. So if I'm in the right environment, I'll do really well. If I'm in the wrong environment, it's not good for me. So that was an example of me being in the right place at the right time, in the right
Gotcha.
environment. Yeah,
I was gonna
definitely.
ask, but I don't think it would pertain to you, but I'll ask anyway. You said earlier I was the only woman, pretty much the only woman in that gym.
Mm,
You know where I'm going with this.
mm.
Were there people looking at you, were the males looking at you differently? Was it intimidating for you?
So at the start, probably, maybe yes, I won't lie, maybe it was intimidating, mainly because of the level of training. Like this was a professional gym. So remember, I'd come out of Australia, a beginner friendly gym,
Your
and then I
punches are
went to,
wrong, your kicks are wrong, and now you.
yeah, yeah. But, and then I go to a gym that's professional where guys are fighting in professional leagues,
Hmm.
you know, doing big fights. But I found that over time, the more that people got to know me, you form relationships, you form bonds with people, they're your teammates, you're doing hard things together. And I found that I got, honestly, a lot of support. I had a lot of support from coaches. My manager there at the time, she was female, was a woman, supported me, and the
Mm.
team really supported me. And if anything, I think I actually got more support being a woman. Now, that said, I just do want to say I recognize that's not everyone's experience in fighting and in Muay Thai, but I was very lucky, like that was my experience.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
You were very, very, very fortunate
very fortunate.
to be, because and again, I'm not trying to word this nicely. Muay Thai is a male dominant sport.
Yeah.
Sports, majority of sports are very male dominant. You're building a popularity, so now I'm pretty sure it must have been difficult at the beginning.
It was difficult at the beginning, and I think just finding my place was hard. And also, you're in a, probably the difficult part is how to display or be feminine and not suppress that when you're in a very masculine environment. But like just examples, I would go in like with my nails done, my lashes done, but I was celebrated for that. I
That's
wasn't put
awesome.
down for that. People would say that would cool, that's cool. I would wear my pink shorts, and I just was I was in a place where I could be authentically myself, or that was just who I am. It's funnily enough because after, when I was getting ready for fights, I'd get my hair done and put colors in my hair. And then afterwards, the guys would start come up to me and ask me where I got my hair done because they wanted to get the same braids and go to the same hairstylist as I did.
I wish I had that problem, but you
Yeah.
just do it. Probably here, my beard a little bit.
Yeah. They can do something. So that was, yeah, going back to your question, without avoiding the question, it is difficult. But at the same time, it's like mindset is everything. At the same time, there were guys who were maybe also training alongside me, not getting recognized, not getting coaching, like not getting promotion. So it's all relative, whereas, I was the only female there. I stood out. The coaches kept an eye on me. I got a lot of support. I got a lot of promotion. So I saw all of that as a positive, and I took that opportunity. That opportunity was presented to me, and I made the most of it.
Okay. Now, you get
Yeah.
offered the fight.
Mm.
What's the first thing that ran through your mind?
The first thing was, I'm not wearing pads. I'm not wearing any protective gear. What's that going to be like? So I was initially thinking about that. Um, am I prepared? I think for anyone doing their first fight, you feel you're never going to feel ready. They say you're never going to. And for me, for example, I've been training for 3 years before this, and I still, wasn't sure, didn't necessarily feel ready. But again, it was one of those things where, I had to push myself or I had to take the leap, and it was given to me. I wasn't going to not take that opportunity.
Now, you
Um,
picked the up. Oh, I apologize. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, that was.
Because I know that you like to challenge yourself. And I mean, excuse me, it seems like you like to challenge yourself all the time.
Mm,
I am under the impression you took the fight as a challenge. Oh, I
yeah.
want to challenge myself. Whatever. One pro fight. Who cares? But then you
Mm,
made a career out of it.
exactly.
That's what I'm trying to figure out in the middle. Or better yet, I'm going with when did you know? Because you took one fight, like you say, challenging yourself. Yeah, whatever. You probably looked
Mm,
in the mirror and said, Gigi, I'm going to get this. This is one fight. Who cares? Who cares about the
yep.
outcome?
Yep.
But you didn't do that. You flipped the
No,
script and you said, I'm going pro all the way through. I'm going all the way through with this. When did
that's a
that light
great
bulb click?
That is a great question. And the answer to that is, so the first fight, I fought a girl who was bigger than me, more experienced than me. She actually owned a gym in Asia. Again, so it's very different in Thailand. I didn't know who my opponent was. There was not much build up to it. Fighting in Thailand is very different to fighting in Australia. In Australia, there's a lot of hype. You're matched very specifically. Your coach knows usually their coach, and there's a lot of time preparation, months in advance usually.
They promoted, they
I
do
didn't,
the whole 9 yards, right?
yeah, all of that. I didn't even know who my opponent was.
Okay.
You know, so this is what I mean. I didn't have time to think about it. It was probably I had maybe less than a month to prepare.
Wow.
Yep. And
Wow.
I just moved to this gym. I just moved to this place, the new city in Thailand. Everything was new.
So
So
everything
I was
stacked up
just
against you.
yeah, I was learning to remote work for the first time, juggling a lot was happening. And I just got through it. I had to tell myself to get through it because I didn't want to fail, you know?
Gotcha.
So, it's under that pressure where those kind of moments, that intense pressure that makes you who you are. You either rise to the challenge or you don't, you know? I fought that girl, I drew, right? Then we rematched a month
Wait,
later.
wait, 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 wait. Hold on. You're going a little fast right now. What an experienced fighter. I'm saying this for the record.
Mm,
She owns a gym.
yeah.
She's been training for X amount of years, professionally, X amount of profession. I'm gonna say, for sake of arguing, she had five professional fights or more.
Mm,
And you're stepping in the ring with a seasoned veteran. I'm gonna say that again, with a seasoned veteran, and you made a draw out of it?
mm. And I drew. So
No, wait, wait,
that in
wait.
its
I
yeah.
gotta tip my hat off to you. I'm sorry, I have to cut you off. I'm cutting you off. Right now. You deserve your flowers for that.
Thank
And I'm gonna
you.
curse
Thanks.
outside of us. That is so fucking impressive that you went in there 1 month training, pretty much never having a Muay Thai professional fight, and you went and did a draw with a top prospect or a seasoned veteran. Before you answer anything else, you have to tell me how you feel. How you felt after when you got the draw.
I felt pretty good. And I was just relieved that I didn't get hurt. I came out of it. I felt good. I enjoyed myself, and it was a good fight. And I didn't crumble, under that pressure. And I did fine. I was fine in the ring. I
Okay,
think that in itself was a test for
okay.
me.
I know we're gonna dive into it, of course, and I apologize. This is so intriguing for me. While you're warming up, before you're going into the ring, what are you going through in your mind? What is your mind thinking?
Pure nerves, like so much adrenaline. Like you got to understand, these stadiums are big. There's lights. Your face on the screen. You're in Thailand. Like it just feels insane. It just feels insane. But that's what people go to Thailand for, is for the experience, right?
Yeah,
So
That,
But you know, it's
Gigi, that's not an average experience. Don't
it's
downplay
not an
this.
average
That's not
experience.
an average experience.
It's
You went to
it's
a
not.
gym, you get a pro fight, you're fighting a seasoned veteran, and you go all distance with her, and you get a draw. No disrespect, you should have got your ass whipped.
Yeah,
In theory, you
yeah,
should have got your ass whipped, and you went all the
absolutely,
way. And that's like,
absolutely.
that's why I'm like, wow.
And that's why, to be honest, I don't recommend doing it that way because if you do, you know, get your ass kicked, get smashed in there, it's gonna probably affect you and you're probably going to be quite unlikely to step in again. And that's why, you know, in Australia, for example, they match you, you know, close to your level for that reason. So you don't get
Gotcha.
deterred. Yeah, there's a lot more regulation around it. Even, you know, we were at different weights.
Oh man, you're making this worse for her, but go keep going. Don't stop. He just
You
added
know,
wood
so
to the
we're in
fire.
Australia,
Keep
you're not
going.
allowed to, you can't fight someone if you're, you know, even a little bit over or they have to accept the fight.
Okay.
You know, but in Thailand, there are so many fights going on all the time. If anything, it wasn't built up. That's the big thing. I didn't realize what it was until I was there at the stadium and I was like, oh
See, that's what I'm
shit.
going with. That's what I
Yeah.
want. That's the answer I'm
Yeah.
looking for. When did it dawn on you like, oh shit, I'm fighting professional?
Yeah. In real time is the answer. It dawned
Okay.
on me in real time. I
Now,
think I'd been to the stadium maybe a couple times before to watch, maybe, but I honestly had no idea what I'd signed up to. I
yeah,
had
that's
no
what it
idea.
is. But you held your own at the end of
Yeah.
the day. It's like you didn't come into a fight. Like there's some I don't know if you remember this. Mike Tyson one time he fought Peter McNeely when he came out of prison. That guy had no business being in the ring with Tyson. As
Mm,
soon as he got hit, he dropped. The referee stopped it. And his corner said, yo, don't, and you could clearly hear it. The corner says, don't worry about it. The check's in the bank. You didn't do
mm,
that. You went all the way through. Like, you
mm.
put it all on the line.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's
But
impressive.
they say that in the ring, it just shows everything, who you
No, it
really
does.
are. You can't hide. And so I didn't even know, you don't even know until it happens at the time. So I think that's the beauty of this sport and why I'm so in love with it. It's like it teaches me who I am. Not even, and it shows it in front of the whole world or, you know, whoever's watching.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
You can't,
clearly, it's like your fight or flight kicked in, one of the two, and you fought. The instincts said, yeah, I'm going all the way
yeah,
through. When you
yeah.
got punched in the face for the first time without pads on in that ring, what went through your mind, if you remember?
It wasn't so much the punches, but it was more the kicks. Like when you feel shin on shin,
Oh.
that is real shit, you know, like no pads.
That's all
Yeah.
right. All right. Now, here's the unpleasant question that we have to attack. And we spoke about this in private. You get the professional fight.
Mm,
Just for, and again, I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm not trying to disrespect you or anybody from the Indian culture. Just a label, just to put it out there. You know how world sensitive the world is now. You're an Indian. That is a woman fighting. I'm not an expert, but that has to be frowned upon in your culture, whether it's publicly or privately.
yeah.
And you calling your mother, your family, let's start with your mother. You calling your mother, say, Mom, I know I came here to Thailand to do X, Y, and Z. I got my first professional fight. I'm a fighter now. How did your family react to that?
In all honesty, they didn't really say much. They
Mhm.
just said good luck.
Okay. Did they think it was going to be a phase? She's just going through a phase. She'll get out of it.
I
Whatever.
think so. I think very much. I didn't think they, yeah, I think they just thought it would be, yeah, it's an experience type thing.
Mm.
And but of course, naturally, they were worried. And it wasn't even just me fighting; it was everything. It was, you know, me going to Thailand, being a woman by yourself. There's all kinds of stories that come out of Thailand. It's a developing country. You don't speak the language. You're a female by yourself. It's all those factors. You're driving a scooter. It's all of those factors. You know, it wasn't just the fighting. It was all of it.
Was your mother opposed to it, privately or publicly? Did she ever express? Because I'm pretty sure now you and your mother have had that uncomfortable conversation about it. What were her
Mm.
feelings did she ever express her feelings, whether it be now or before, about how she felt about you making this decision?
Yeah.
And if so,
So
what did she say? If you okay with sharing.
yeah. So mum has definitely said before, for example, has expressed concern about what I'm putting my body through.
Mm.
And I suppose how I've addressed that is that I understand, it's an extreme sport, it's physically demanding. Um, not even just the fights, it's the training is grueling. Um, well, actually, one thing is before I went to Thailand, they have seen me go through a lot of injuries. You know,
Uh,
I had knee injury, I had ribs, I had all sorts of things. So one example was I had a knee injury, I had an MCL tear, and it was right before Christmas.
mm.
And it's just a testament to the family that I come from. Whereas we all make sweets together, like cookies and like traditional Indian sweets. And mum just said, "Oh, you can sit down and make them." So I kind of learned early in the sport to not let those things interfere with responsibilities.
Gotcha.
And I think that was a big thing. Like, you still have to show up to work. You still have to show up for your responsibilities. You still have to do your family commitments. And that was a big thing for them. So I clocked that early. And sport is demanding. It takes a lot from you. It makes you selfish. But more over time, I've really put measures in place or tried to mitigate that so it can coexist and enhance my life, not take away from it.
You just made a strong statement. You said, I don't let it take it away from my life. I let it enhance my life. How has it enhanced your life?
The big the big thing is resilience. I think before the sport, I've always been resilient, but the way I showed resilience was different.
Mm.
I think I would crumble a lot easier. Um, when things were hard, I was probably quicker to give up.
Hmm.
But fighting has made me a fighter in other aspects of life. And that's what the sport teaches you. There's no point being a hero in the ring if you're going to be a shitty person outside of that.
I
And I've
wish many
definitely
people would
learned.
take that, but okay. I'm sorry for cutting you. I wish many people would take that approach, but okay, clearly they don't.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I could attribute that to the culture around Muay Thai. It's a traditional sport. You got to respect fighters from Thailand are fighting to support their families. They rely on this as income. So I take that really seriously. They're not just fighting for belts and to look good and to
Yeah,
make cool videos on Instagram. Um, so yeah, that's something that really sticks with me.
you made a good point there. You A lot of people. Well, I don't want to generalize. I've seen a couple of documentaries. Majority of the people that do fight in Thailand, you're right. They are fighting to put food on the table. You don't
Yep.
need to do that.
No.
So why? What is it about Muay Thai? Because people like in sports in general is like you're 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 very blessed, Gigi. You're very, very blessed. You're
Absolutely.
multicultural, very intelligent. You're not punch drunk. You have a law degree. You negotiate. You don't need to take a punch in the face. You really don't. You're financially well off. You don't need to take a
No.
punch in the face. But yet you're going in there and you're like, excuse my French, I'm gonna kick that girl's ass.
Yeah. I think real Muay Thai fighters and real Muay Thai is just, it's not about that. I get that the fans love it and that's what you see and that's what it looks like.
Hmm.
And I'm really glad, really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this, is because it's a big misconception in the sport, that this sport is just for thugs. It's about, yes, you're hitting people. Yes, it's a full contact sport. Yes, it's rough. Yes, it's dangerous. Like those things, can't dispute it. But the spiritual and mental aspect of it is so powerful. The community aspect of it, those things overtake all of the other stuff.
You sound like a
And
fighter
that's,
that in the 19, he was Mexican actually. His name was Baby Bull Juan Diaz. He didn't need to fight. He was in the ring. He was a unified champion at one point. I think it was at 130 before he got beat up by Juan Marquez. But he was a lawyer. And he had his law degree. He didn't need to fight. And if he ever, his coach told him, well, if you ever don't want to do no more, I don't care. You got a degree. I'm fine with that. But he said something you're saying. It wasn't about the money. It was about the culture. It was about the experience. It was about the spirituality, how it made me a better person. And I honor that. I'm just letting you know, I honor that.
absolutely.
That's really awesome. Because
Yeah.
it's not about the finances. It's about the sport, which is different.
Yeah. If it didn't make me a better person, I wouldn't do it. And it's
Dude,
about the people.
gotcha.
That's the big thing. What it's given me in terms of connection, community, bonds, the experiences I've had, I can't even fully describe in words. Things like having teammates who come from like countries in the world that
Hmm.
are, I've never even been to, or people I've never even met. Just an example, I would train next to guys who are from Iran. You know, Iran, they're coming out of a country that is like war torn. The
Mm.
trauma that some of them would have experienced, I can't even imagine. They're like the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah,
You know,
they
coming
really
to
are.
training, they're coaching me, they're helping me. That I just wish that everyone could experience something like that. I just wish, I think the world would be such a better place.
I think you're, and I don't want to take away from your greatness, but I think your experience is not normal. That is not the norm for a woman.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
you are very blessed. And I'm happy for
Yeah,
you. I really am. I really, really am
yeah,
happy for you
yeah.
because
And
I inter I interviewed a woman and she told me she went to do an MMA fight and the gentleman went up to her and said, "Oh, what are you doing? Mud fighting?" And I had to apologize to her for all human beings on the face of the planet. Forget that he was a male. I said, for all human beings, I apologize on his stupidity. But you didn't go through that, which is
well, don't
awesome.
get me wrong. People make comments all the time. People say stuff, are you worried about your face?
Yeah.
I'm also a model. You know, are
Oh,
you worried about this? Are you worried about getting hurt? What about this? What about that?
yeah. No, no, I get it. I get it. I get it.
So
But
it's not to say that it's not that, but I haven't experienced that real extreme resistance,
or
which,
ignorance.
or
Biggest.
ignorance. Yeah.
Wow. That's good for you, man. Really good for you, Gigi. From the
I
short time
think
we
I
spoke, you're
was,
a phenomenal human being. You deserve that.
thank you. I think, they say that Muay Thai, you're born a fighter.
Hmm.
You don't become a fighter, you're either a fighter or you're not. And I think people resonate with the passion behind it and they see how much I love it. When I talk about it, I can talk about Muay Thai all day. You know,
I
Once I
get
start talking about it, that's it. Like I just won't shut up about
it.
it.
when when did your family embrace that you was a fighter and said, "Well, we're not going to change Gigi's mind. This
Yeah,
is not her going through a phase. This is who she is now. She's a model,
yeah,
she's a lawyer, she's a fighter. She kicks ass." When did they accept that? Oh,
yeah.
and
So a
I
big
forgot to add one
turn.
more other thing. A Pilates instructor. But go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't forget. I didn't forget.
No. So I love this question and I love talking about it. A big turning point was actually when I returned from Thailand. I moved
Hmm.
back to Australia and I fought for the first time in Australia. So at that time, I was living with my family, and at, that was such a special fight because they could really be involved in the preparation.
Hmm.
So they would see me go to work, come back, go to the gym every day after work. And I remember one day that my dad came home with 3 cartons of eggs because he knew that the protein was really important. And, without saying anything, I just knew that they were in my corner. They didn't say much about it. And then before the fight, my mum also said to me, she made a comment. She said, I really respect your dedication and commitment to this. And that just meant so much to me, because, mum doesn't know anything about Muay Thai. She's never even heard of it. And then they came to the fight, and it was actually against the current state champion. And I remember, my family coming, they ran straight to the bar, which is understandable. They sat in the crowd. And I remember, if you look at the fight photos of that fight, I was smiling a lot because in the ring I lost that fight, but I was smiling before, during, and after because I really didn't want them to see me get hurt. And I really wanted them to have like a positive experience of the fight as well as I did, and to see how much I loved it and see how happy it made me. And that was just a really special experience for me to have them come to that. And yeah, that was a fight on a Saturday night. I took the Sunday off to rest, and at Monday morning, I was back at my desk with a black eye, but in my office.
Gotcha.
And I think that to them, really, like, I proved it to myself and to my family as well. Like, that's what being a fighter is.
Gotcha. But
Yeah.
I just want to ask one thing, and this is my final question because we're coming back next week and we're gonna have the really uncomfortable conversation. You saw your father coming in with eggs, and you said, without saying it, and correct me if I'm wrong, it symbolized to you that he embraced it. How happy were you when you saw him walking in with 3 carton eggs? And I know everybody's like, oh, it's 3 carton eggs, but that's symbolism. That symbolized something for you. What did it do for
Yeah. Oh, I think that family support and,
you? No, 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 no. Forget the family support.
oh,
I'm talking about your father, because I'm pretty
yeah,
sure he was one of the people against it. Without even saying
yeah,
it, you his
for
little
sure.
girl. There's no one should be touching you. He probably was really upset, not personally, but this upset with your decision. You come
Yeah,
back to Australia. He knows you need protein, and he brings 3 carton of eggs.
yeah.
First thing that I want to see your mind. Forget everybody. Your father.
That just meant everything to me. I can't even put it into words. And it just is a testament to the person that my dad is and the type of father that he is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Gigi, we're gonna wrap this up. I had a great time. Next time's gonna be much longer. And I want to thank you for your time. I had a great time. I wish I had a really good time.
Me too. Thank you
Thank you.
so much, Jay.
Thank you.